Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Bubblegum Reviews. My name is Steve, and tonight's review will be on the movie to the left of me here, The Illusionist, with Edward Norton, Jessica Biel, Rufus Sewell, and Paul Giamatti. So this is a second time watch for me. The first time I watched this, I know I did not finish it. A little quick summary into this is Eisenheim is the town's magician who actually has quite the following. And he ends up running into a crown prince who his betrothed is Sophie, who just happens to be an old childhood friend of Eisenheim, so he decides to fight the crown prince for her. And they kind of bring the town into an uproar because of it. So anyways, first things first is Paul Giamatti in this was fantastic. So there's actors out there for me who they can be in a movie that's just plain terrible, but they gave it 110%. Like Alec Baldwin did in The Cat in the Hat. Paul Giamatti does this every movie I've seen him in. He gives it 110%. He is great. Like in this movie, he killed it. Edward Norton did a good job. So did not Rufus Sewell, but I can't think of his name right now. But he was also in The World's End, and he was also in Sherlock Holmes as a police officer. Anyways, Jessica Biel, on the other hand, I feel like they gave her a role like, oh, we're just going to throw you in this as much as possible, but we're not going to give you very many lines at all. And personally, I think the reason they had her in this was because she looks good in Breachers. It is Breachers, right? Yeah. So that's why I think they had her in the movie. Anyways, so the costumes in this are actually really cool. I love the era this takes place in. And I also like the shooting locations for this as well. So there's near the end of the movie, there's a spot that they show, and the visual view of it is fantastic. Like that shot was so great. That right there is where I want to live. That is my dream spot to live. That was so cool. Edward Norton. He is one that I've never really sought out, like, oh, Edward Norton's in this? I gotta see it. No, he's not a person that I've ever really cared for as much, like, as far as that goes. But this performance, he actually did a really good job. Like, I will give him credit because, like I said, I've never been a huge fan, but he did a good job in this. This movie, although all the good acting and all that, the writing in this was very boring for me. It made the movie really slow. The best part of this was probably the last 20 to 30 minutes. But, it's a very slow movie. I felt like the screenplay didn't really fit the movie. It didn't work. And overall, the movie I said it in my other review, it was like a slow man's version of Sherlock Holmes. Like, I know Sherlock Holmes came after this movie as far as getting released, but you watch this and then you watch Sherlock Holmes, and it literally feels like Sherlock Holmes if there was no action whatsoever in the movie. And they threw a magician in there kind of deal. But anyways, so director we have Neil Berger. I've never heard of the guy. I do know one movie he's directed, which is The Upside. I have not seen it. I just know who's in it. Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart. It's supposed to be like a bucket list style movie is what I kind of saw from the preview. I do want to see it. He also did the Divergent series, which I have no interest in seeing that. So I'm not really familiar with anything as far as, oh, I've seen this. No, haven't seen any of it. But IMDb gave this a 7.6 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 73%. I gave it a 5 out of 10. 3 of those stars most likely went to Paul Giamatti because of his performance. Reasons I'd tell you to watch it, I just told you. Paul Giamatti's performance. That's the reason I'd tell you. box office of 87.8 million on a budget of 17, so it made 70.8 million, which isn't very bad. The movie did come out the same year as the movie The Prestige. I kind of was like reading other people's reviews, and I know some people are like, these aren't even the same type of movie. They kind of are. And obviously, in my personal opinion, I like The Prestige better, even though I don't like the outcome of that movie. I did see that movie in theaters. But anyways, so the composer in this is Philip Glass, which I hear this guy is like a very sought after composer, which I was kind of looking at his list of stuff. There is some stuff I'm familiar with that he's done, but overall, I don't see the big hype of why this guy is so sought after. Like, I mean, maybe it's because I'm not familiar with his movies. Maybe the people that are familiar with all this stuff is like, this guy's great, but I just didn't see it. Anyways, interesting fact. So, first thing is Liv Tyler, right up until the very, very end, was supposed to play Sophie's role. And then they ended up last minute getting Jessica Biel to play it. Liv Tyler or Jessica Biel? I'd probably go with Jessica Biel myself. The other interesting fact is this movie was shot in a total of 46 days. That seems real quick. 46 days, this outcome, I mean, you heard my other reviews, that's not bad, but I don't know, I feel like they might have put a little more time into it, because I definitely feel like from what they got out of the ending, like from what the ending was, it took way too long to get to that part. Like, they could have cut the movie down probably 20 to 30 minutes and still got to that ending. That's kind of how I feel. But yeah, that's all for that. Up next, I will be watching a little movie here called The African Queen. That'll be my next movie. I don't know if this will be my next review. It could either be this or the movie Happy, or I'm sorry, the TV show Happy. I'm almost done watching that for a second time, and this time I'm going to review it. So one of those two will be up next. I also went to a comic book store and bought my first ever comic. So check this out, guys, huh? A little comic called Hazard. And I also bought this little guy right... Where did I put him? Oh, for those of you that are familiar with Family Guy, this is Christabel. I bought this. I couldn't pass it up. I thought this was too cool. So, yeah. All right. Anyways, that's all for tonight. You guys have a good night. Like and subscribe. Check out my letterbox. Check out my eBay. And one final thing. Either like this review or start eating that trash can.